different things to different people. For me, it's all about the joy of creativity. So if you draw, paint, write, dance, sing, craft, play air guitar, or even sculpt using nothing more than mashed potatoes, consider yourself an artist and join our conversation. For the next half hour, meet the artist and learn about their inspiration while we all enjoy the beauty of creativity. Welcome to Season 2 of Art Talk with John Cole Artist. Hey, good evening, everyone. It's John Cole Artist. Tonight, I'm expecting April Small to be joining me. I got a text message a few minutes ago saying that she just got a new computer, so she's probably working out the bugs a little bit. But that's okay. There's plenty to talk about before she comes on the show. Hopefully, everybody's doing good. Everybody made it through Halloween in one piece. My wife and I had the pleasure of being able to go down to New Jersey this weekend to see a whole bunch of paranormal investigators, right? Not folks that maybe you've never heard of, but some that you've actually heard of. We've got to see the group from Destination Fear, which is now called Project Fear. We got to meet Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters. We've got to meet Katrina Weidman from Portals. What's it called? Portals to Hell. The one with Jack Osborne. It was an amazing time. We had a really great time, but it's kind of a follow-up from last week's show when we did the Halloween special. So it was a really great way to end the Halloween season, but now, of course, we have Thanksgiving coming up. And it looks to me like my good friend April is here.
Hi.
Hi, April. How you doing?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no apologies.
So,
no apologies.
Juggling the single mom life. I had to get my kids settled.
Wonderful. Well, let me
But
introduce
I'm here.
Yeah, well, great. I'm really glad. When I started doing this podcast almost 2 years ago now, I always thought to myself, what happens if I invite someone on? And of course, with all good intentions, they want to be on, but then something comes up at the last second. What do I do? Where do I go with the show, right?
You just talk.
Yeah, right. So you put me in a really good headspace there where it's like, okay, well, I could talk for 2 minutes. Can I make that 4 minutes? Can I make it 8 and just keep going on and on and on? But thankfully, you're here.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Yeah. So April, you're a certified creativity fit coach, certified therapeutic art life coach, and the owner and operator of Odonata Artistic Services. I was practicing it beforehand because last time I said it wrong.
Listen, it's a mouthful. So Odonata is actually the scientific term for dragonfly, which is huge, right? The significance of transformation, not just to a higher level, but like expansion. And the reason I chose it was my purpose came to me out of nowhere. I always knew I wanted to be self-employed, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then when it hit me, it changed my whole life. It changed my whole world. It changed everything I did. So it was so significant that it wasn't just a butterfly transformation. It was a dragonfly transformation. It was just really big.
But what was it? What was the?
So I used to do medical staffing. I started doing medical staffing again to support me and my daughter. But I couldn't figure out what would make me happy. And a coworker took me to a paint night. And as soon as I went, I was like, I'm going to quit and I'm going to start my own paint night business. And we laughed. But 3 months later, I actually quit and I started my own paint night business. And that was 11 years ago. 11 years.
Yeah, because I haven't talked to you. It was September of last year is when we spoke on the show. So it's been a full year. And how is the painting going? How is the your paint nights going? Are you finding that more people are becoming involved, or?
Honestly, it's hard now. Like the economy is really bad. People aren't spending as much money on things that aren't necessarily needed. But I'm offering more services, especially with the expansion that I've received through my own learning path.
Right.
And so now I'm doing things like virtual classes that can hit people from all over.
That's a great
So
idea.
anyone can take these classes. And it's very personalized. It's all videos of me talking and explaining everything all the way through and step by step showing you through the painting, but healing, especially because for me, in the last 2 years, I've gone through a lot and it's been really hard. And I'm trying to take what I've learned and my experience and transform it into a healing like process for people that are dealing with heartbreak or death or trauma
Right.
specifically. Um, just it's a new avenue, but one that I've been kind of working on behind the scenes for a while. But now I'm really getting focused on that because that for me is what's keeping me going, and
Right.
I just really want to help people in a real way, especially with all the hard times that everyone's going through and in a atmosphere where not everyone wants to get out anymore, and so this is accessible to you anywhere at
Right.
any time, and you don't have to go at any certain pace. You can do it at your own pace, so it's pretty cool and I really love it, and I'm just hoping that I can help people. Honestly, I
Yeah.
just want to help people not suffer and use creative expression to get out of their pain and suffering. That makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And first of all, Christine says hello. She says hello, beautiful soul. So I want to make sure I
Hi.
acknowledge that she's on. She's actually not home right now. She's out and about, but she made it a point to watch the show because she knew you were going to be on. So that's cool that she's doing that.
Very cool. Hi, Christine.
Yeah. Um, no, I think you know what you really bring up a wonderful point. When you're talking about suffering and things like that. We talked a little bit about this the last time you were on about mindset and things like that. But I think the fact of the matter is we're living in very difficult times anyway. So if you're a person that has a problem that's localized to you, you know, it's a big thing. But I think bigger than that, we've got problems that are bigger than us that now
Yep.
weigh on top of all that. And I think that idea of being able to use art to express yourself to go through the healing process or at least get you on the right track there. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's even just putting your hands to motion. How many times do we get sad and we sit, right? We sit still.
Yeah.
And does that do anything for you? And does it make you feel better? No. And I personally, I suffer from a lot of depression. So I know when I'm sitting still that I'm not moving through what's bothering me.
Right.
And it sets me back and it takes me even longer to get through. So I really wanted to create something that will help people that are like me, that are going through a lot but don't know how to express themselves. And the cool thing is, like, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be good at art.
Right.
I even have like a whole thing about making ugly art on purpose. So like the thing you're afraid of and like, oh, I'm gonna mess up. No, we're gonna do it on purpose. Let's get that out of the way.
Right.
And then through that, you're able to work through your mind, where you get set on I can't create or I'm not good enough. That doesn't matter. That's not that's not the point of creating art. Art is subjective. We're all different. And there's no wrong, but a lot of people get hung up on the wrong.
Hmm.
So having a purposely, like, let's make ugly art on purpose process,
Right.
I feel like really breaks that boundary. Like, now I can be free. I messed up. I made something ugly. I got it out of the way.
Hmm.
And now let's try, you know?
Hmm. No, I think that's amazing. And it's done with videos. Is it like Teachable or one of those type companies?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
unteachable.
Okay.
I love it. I love the medium. I love the breakdown of like how it's like little bite-sized portions,
Hmm.
and you can come back to it and replay it or revisit it whenever needed. And I even myself
Hmm.
revisit the whole process because I mean, like, it's been a really hard time for me the last few years, and I have to revisit my own process. But it works. It works. It helps you process your feelings. It helps you get through what you're struggling with. And I just really want that for everyone. Like, life is hard.
Yeah, yeah,
I just really want to relieve some of our pain and give us some artistic expression and give us like the the sense of accomplishment that you feel when you're done really helps. Like
it
you
does.
feel like, okay, I climbed a mountain I didn't think I could climb,
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, and I've heard in the past, through coaches and whatnot, um, when you make promises to yourself and you actually keep that promise, and it doesn't even have to be a big thing, but just something small. If not art, to myself, my promise is I'm going to get up at 5:30 in the morning and I'm going to feed the cat. That's promise to myself. And when I keep with that, I feel better because I've actually accomplished something,
Yeah,
and
definitely. And one of the things I actually would like to launch, if people are interested, I'm not sure, but is a consistency kind of like challenge. Like, hey, can we dedicate 5 minutes a day and then increase it throughout the month towards creation, whether it be if you're into jewelry making or art making or journaling or writing? You know what I mean? Like,
I do. Yeah, yeah,
just any little thing, because that little bit of time really is healing. And if we're not taking it at all, then we're stuck, stagnant.
yeah.
But if we're taking 5 minutes, that's a step. It doesn't have to be big, but like any step forward.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, absolutely, absolutely. Going back to what you said earlier about, you didn't use the word variation, but basically diversifying with the addition now of the video program or the video training, or however that's characterized. Um, I think that's something that we should all strive to be able to do ourselves, right? Whether or not it's art or not, because I think that having that flexibility to be able to maybe shift your direction, pivot pivot a little bit in a
Yep.
different direction, opens up new thoughts. It opens up new ways to be creative. It opens up possibilities for solving some of your problems as well that you may never have known had you not done that, right?
Yep.
So
Absolutely. The cool
yeah,
thing about it is it can apply to anything. You don't have to make artwork. You can make any form of art or expression that you feel,
yeah,
and it will apply to you. So, like, the coolest thing about it is it's so adaptable.
right.
And I really want it to be. I just want to help as much people as possible because I know how much it hurts to suffer. Like, I don't want anyone else to suffer the way that I have and the way that people do. And it's really important that we express, right? Love, creativity, and acceptance and understanding. So this opens up the space to not only try something new and express yourself, but share it with the community that also signed up for it.
Mm.
And then like get feedback from me and of course encouragement because you know how I am. I can't not encourage everyone. Like I love you all. And I just wish everyone knew how important it is that we express ourselves and that we don't hide our feelings or shelter or be quiet or dull our voices. I think a lot of people do. And right now, especially, it's super important. Like, we need
Yeah,
to be advocates for people that aren't perfect or are going through things. And I just want to help you all. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think given the climate today, I mean, today's election day. Now, I'm not going to get into politics at all, but it's a big day for a lot of people. Matter of fact, I'd
Yep.
argue it's a big day for everybody in the United States, Um, but the idea of focusing more on the positive, the love, is something that we've really gotten away from. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. As I remember growing up, living in my parents' shadow, they weren't overly positive either, right? So I was born in the 60s, so really my most impressionable years would have been the 70s and of course the 80s, because the 80s music still remains the best decade for music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I would always win that argument for that. But the older I've gotten, the more I've appreciated other people, and the more I've seen that the negative side can really it really is a very destructive power. And
Yep.
I think that what you're bringing is that bit to offset that, to say,
Yeah.
hey, you don't need to be. I mean, you can have your own feelings and your own thoughts and your own opinions, but you don't have to characterize that in a destructive way.
Yeah.
You can make it positive through art, through maybe shifting a little bit and being
I
a
mean,
lot.
the whole problem is a lot of us we get stuck.
Mhm.
We dwell in the negative. And it's unfortunate because it really holds us back. And the truth is, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make your relationship with anyone else better. It doesn't make your outlook on life better. Unfortunately, it hurts you.
Yeah.
And as much bad has happened to me in my life, I always wanted to remember like, life is what you make it. So even if really bad things happen, right? What I do with it, how I react, who I am is all that matters.
Yeah.
So I want other people to know that, but have the ability and the tools to be able to deal with it, because a lot of us aren't given the tools. It's not like our parents teach us about breath work and grounding.
No.
Like maybe I do, but not everyone was blessed with me as a mom.
It's true.
And my daughter specifically, it was all about groundwork and breath work and grounding, and she's good, right? But what about the people before me? What about what I was taught? I was never taught that.
Yeah.
And I just really want to make sure that people know that there are tools out there that can help you. And you don't have to feel sad. You don't have to feel angry. And you don't want to spread it.
Oh yeah. Right.
Don't spread it because it's only adding to the infection.
Yeah.
And us as humans, it's easy to go to the dark, to the negative. It is.
Well, it is, right, and it's easy to hide under a rock too, which is where I found myself, because I talked about it 2 weeks ago on when I finally got the podcast going again about how I ended up, I hit a deer in Colorado, and basically my truck was there, and unfortunately I wasn't injured at all, but it it was it was it was it took away the rest of my trip, and I had still 2.5 weeks to go. And it was for me, it was a very devastating thing because I had planned for a full year,
Oh,
and
wow.
then, right. So I went through this grieving process that I didn't even realize I was going through. And to your point about, um, you know, how easy it is for us to slide into that. That's exactly where I went. I mean, I gave up everything, April. I stopped doing the podcast. I stopped doing art. I stopped the coaching program I was in. I stopped talking. And it wasn't like I was crying every day. It's just, I had this overwhelming feeling that all was for nothing.
Yep.
All because of that one single incident where I wasn't even hurt. It was a truck. It was a piece of property. You know what I mean? Um,
But
and it
loss is
really,
loss. It affected you.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
okay. And you're not wrong. Okay. So one of the things I want to mention is I think that we I don't know what the word is. You don't have to be perfect. You don't always have to be in a place of joy or growth. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to take a week or two or month when something bad happens to you to recuperate. It took me like a year to recover from what happened to me, and it was really bad, and it really affected me physically and mentally very bad. But what I learned from it was the same thing I already knew, but I learned that it's also okay to take a break when you need it. And for me to take the time to heal and not be myself and not be perfect was really hard because I love to be on top of my game. I love to help everyone, but I couldn't help anyone.
Right.
I couldn't. I was so sad and I was so mentally and physically hurt. I couldn't. And then I have to accept that. Right. And you need to accept that. It's okay for you to not be perfect and on the ball all the time. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, you know
We
what?
we could take a month.
Well, right. Yeah. For me, it was like, geez, 2.5 months, 3 months. But what's really interesting is that what kind of pulled me out of that finally was art. And it was going down, and I decided I was going to pick up stained glass again and work with that medium. And as soon as I started doing that, it's like I started to pull right out of that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
yeah,
It really does help though.
it's
Like
very
it really
therapeutic. I
does.
mean, it really is.
I mean, the thing is though, I also think we can't push it. So like it does help you, yeah. But maybe you weren't ready a few weeks, a month ago, two
Right.
months ago. And that's okay. I feel like we get hung up on the, oh, I should have been doing this the whole time. No, you're a human. You need time to heal. It's okay.
Right. And
You
Chris,
don't always have to be on the ball. You don't always have to be perfect. You don't always have to perform. And I myself always feel like I have to, right? Because I overcompensate for everything I just do. It's part of my nature. And I had to teach myself, like, that's not healthy. Like,
right.
it's okay to be sad. It's okay to heal. It's okay to take time.
Right. Yeah. And
And then
Christina, I
when
think,
you're
yeah,
ready,
she echoes that a bit. She says, we are taught to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and move on. We are
huh?
not taught to feel our feelings, especially men. Right.
The thing is, though, if we don't take the time to feel our feelings, right, how much does it hurt more later? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know how many people I've met over the year. Well, I would say over the years, but over the last few years that are only now addressing things that happened, when they were children. And I think that includes myself. The
yep,
book that I wrote, the Seeking Permission book, and then the chapters I wrote for Behind the Power um, are related to that. That idea that here I am in my mid 50s, pushing 60 almost, finally looking at these issues that I hadn't dealt with
yeah,
for 40 years. I mean, that's a very long time. And that I don't think it's certainly not unique.
yeah, we're
You know?
taught to push our
Right.
feelings aside. We're taught to be smart, to be brave, to be quiet,
Right.
to do good things and do what everyone else wants.
Right.
But I want to unteach that. I
Good for
want
you.
people
Good.
to feel and to use art through expression to help get through it. Because even if you're feeling like you're not at your best, maybe you can make some ugly art and at least let some feelings out.
Yeah. Now, do you have any? I'm just curious because I know beforehand I didn't ask, and I probably should have. But do you have any examples of ugly art?
Oh my gosh, let me see. Normally I would, but my art journals are in the other room. So basically, what I do though, I can explain the process.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I
Is
love it.
pick your ugliest colors, right? Pick ugly pictures or ideas or feelings and let loose on a piece of paper. Don't worry about being pretty. Use your ugliest colors, make ugly faces, write ugly things that are going through your mind,
Mhm.
whatever it is that you need to let go of, or just literally anything.
Mhm.
And then don't worry about what it looks like. Just let it rip.
Right.
Really. And honestly, it really does help in the sense that you're always worried about creating something perfect or making something beautiful. And this is your chance to not let all of that aside and just make something. And it
Right.
doesn't have to be pretty, and it can let out all those emotions you've stored up inside of you. I know I get a lot of stored up things because I'm not good at communicating so much, especially in the past, but I've been really good at it now. But art has always been my escape. So I take it and I use it as my form of expression and saying the things that I haven't been able to say.
Right.
And putting that to paper and making those ugly faces, the scared faces, the screaming, the whatever, and just letting it out. And then you know what?
Hmm.
You get to paint over it. Make it beautiful.
Right.
It doesn't even have to stay ugly. If you go through the whole process, you can make something beautiful or you can start fresh. So, like, there's two ways of going about it because I think some people, there's two ways. So, some of us don't want the negative, dense energy.
Mhm.
So, we want to start fresh with a clean slate and something new. Or some people want to paint over it and like a phoenix. They want to rise above and have something new and brilliant come out of it. So I teach it both ways and it's a very healing process and I use it myself, honestly. One of the things that I've learned, especially because I do have a degree in psychology and I also really practice a lot of art therapy. So I like people to understand that through putting something to paper, you're allowing it to let it out of yourself and you're allowing yourself to start to heal. And
Mhm.
then through creating an artwork out of that, that maybe solidifies a new belief that you want to take in. So,
Right.
like, say you want strength or you want to overcome this or that, you can create your own affirmation and put it over the artwork and then put the artwork over your pain and it's a whole healing process and then you get to step into your new power and then use that for meditation
Right.
or just affirmation in general and it's very good to have in your home to solidify those things that you're trying to reprocess your brain. You're trying to reconnect your brain waves to the new neural pathway for
Mhm.
this new belief instead of still continuing the old beliefs that limit you.
So you've taught people this,
Yep.
and is it like in one of your classroom environments or a group environment, that type of
Yep.
thing, or more
Oh,
one? How does it percentage wise, male and female? Is it about equal or
um, I've I've had mostly females, but I think it's just I connect a lot with females. But
right?
I do have males, and you know what? It's funny because guys always never want to come or whatever, but they always do the best. It's cute because they don't get as nervous and they're just, I don't know. I guess they're more relaxed. They have fun with it, where females get a little nervous
Right.
and they get anxious and worried that they're going to make a mistake. I don't know. It's mostly females, but the males do have a great time.
Well, good. I'm glad that there's that distribution of people because I know that like Christine had alluded to it earlier about especially men are not taught to feel our feelings, and I think there is a shift. I mean,
Yeah,
with
there's
this
definitely a
generation,
shift
yeah.
lately.
I mean, the millennials and even the what's Gen Z. I don't know, whatever order they're in.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah, whatever. I think that there's more of a shift toward that. My impression, anyways, there's more of a shift towards the feeling aspect of things as opposed to what I grew up with as a Gen Xer, which is you don't feel the
Yeah,
feelings, you
definitely.
do it, you right. So I think that we will be do. Matter of fact, I think this whole not to get back to politics, but this whole election cycle is a really good. It's really going to demonstrate feelings, regardless of how it plays out. It really is a feelings election if you think about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm hoping that it goes the way that we need it to go. But the point is I think that we are changing as a society. I think we're changing as a global population as well. I think we're clearly not there yet. Clearly.
Yeah. No, we're not there, but there is change. My
Yeah.
father, he always taught me never to feel anything. He raised me on his own, and it was always, just like toughen up,
Mm.
don't show your feelings, da da da. And me being who I am now, I'm sure he's a little confused about me. But he's proud and he's happy that I can be who I am and be strong. But he never really talked about his feelings
Yeah.
ever. I'm not sure he really still does. And I think that's one of those things, right? Because
Yeah.
he was born at a certain age and you're just taught not to not to express your feelings.
Right. Yeah. I mean, both my parents have passed, but all the way up to the end, neither one did either. You know what I mean? So because it just wasn't what they did, it just really wasn't. So I hate to say it, but we're already at the halfway or the 30-minute mark, April, which you talk
Wow,
about
that
a podcast
fast.
that goes fast. Holy cow. I would absolutely love to have you on again because I think that you have a lot of value that you're bringing to the audience.
Yeah,
And if it's something that you're amenable to, maybe I could reach out to you and we could set up another
absolutely.
podcast where we
I'm
could
always
talk.
here for you. I
That would be
appreciate
amazing.
you.
Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate you being on the show. So thank you. Next week, folks, I don't have anybody scheduled. Maybe April, if you're not doing anything, let me know. Reach out to me. Maybe you can come on next
Next
week
week,
too.
I'm actually going to be on a radio show.
Which is really cool. What radio show?
I forgot the name of it. It's I can't remember.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna be on a radio show. I'll be
That's gonna be
available the next
cool.
week.
That's awesome. Well, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on that. That's cool.
I'm getting out there.
Good for you. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Odonata Artistic Services or just Facebook. April Small. You can reach out to me anytime. Thank you
Awesome,
all.
awesome.
I appreciate you so much, John. Thank you.
No worries. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. We just need to do it more often than once a year, I think.
Absolutely. I'm always here.
Now, just really quick, do you have any? I know that you're saying it's a little bit difficult given the economy with the group paints and things like that. But do you have anything on the horizon coming up in the?
Oh, I do. I have tons of classes. I
You
have
do?
in-person classes. I do online teaching if you're not local. And I do fundraisers as well. And I have all of the above coming up. So,
Okay. Is that all on the website as well?
yeah, you can definitely find me, especially on Facebook, because that's where most of my information is.
Yeah, because I really need to. Not really need to. Let me rephrase that. I really want to participate in one of your classes. I just think it would be a lot of fun.
Love that. Yeah. That would be amazing.
All right. Well, I'll take a look at the Facebook page and see what you got going on, and hopefully connect with you and meet you face to face because I don't think we've met face to face yet.
Absolutely.
So, all right, folks. Thank you very much, April. You have a great evening, and I'll see everybody next week on Art Talk with John Cole, artist. Thank you so very much for joining me on the Art Talk podcast, where it's my goal to bring artists together to talk about their craft. If you'd like to join me for a conversation, please reach out via email at johncoleartist@gmail.com or by visiting my website at johnrobertcole.com. So until next time, keep crafting, painting, and inspiring others with your creativity. You make more of an impact than you know. See ya.